unclog 2 more toilets this month and I get an award.
Yeah. Hi, y'all. Welcome to Hustle Humbly. It's Alyssa and Katie, and we are 2 top producing realtors in the Baton Rouge market.
We work for 2 different companies where we should be competitors, but we have chosen community over competition.
The goal of our podcast is to encourage you to find your own way in business.
So stop comparing yourself and start embracing your strengths.
Okay, Hustle Humbly listeners.
We're on take 2.
We're on take 2 of this episode.
Episode 71.
And we have our guest today.
Okay, so start again.
Okay, so I'm excited to introduce our guest, Rick Roberts, who I met through Louisiana Realtors and doing some leadership things and conferences. And Rick has a lot of different avenues of experience in real estate, from being a commissioner to actually being in the business. And so if you could just tell us a little bit about what it means to be a commissioner, why that's important, introduce yourself.
All right. Well, my name is Rick Roberts.
Hi again.
Hey.
I'm glad to be with you. I'm honored to be on the podcast.
We're happy to have you.
You are part of my Monday morning fabric of trying to jog, but then walk and crawl back to my house.
I just like that you're a listener.
I know.
I'm a charter member of the podcast.
I suddenly became nervous though, like maybe he's going to wait and catch me for something and like turn me in.
Well, I always think about it like when we're talking about things. See, this is a myth you want to debunk right now, don't you?
He's not the police. You are the real estate police-ish.
Well, kind of. If I could demystify the commission, that would be a good thing for your listeners, because every listener in every state has a commission.
That was one of my questions. So state to state, there is a commission.
There is a regulatory body in every state.
Yes, okay.
And beyond.
Oh.
So, yes, most of your listeners are under the jurisdiction of the Real Estate Commission.
Okay. Is the Real Estate Commission part of the National Association of Realtors, or they are just totally different?
They are absolutely not, and that is a question we get often.
Okay.
Like, realtors and commission are 2 totally
different things.
Realtors, NAR, your state associations are all trade associations geared to realtors.
Okay.
And based on a code of ethics, whereas you're based on law. Am I getting that rightish?
Sort of. So it's kind of like this. The Real Estate Commission is there to protect the public from licensees.
Got it.
So anybody that's a real estate agent.
A licensee.
Okay.
So there's a difference. Some people don't know. There's licensees and realtors. It's kind of like CPAs and accountants.
Yes. Okay.
Every CPA is an accountant. Not every accountant's a CPA. Like you talked about, Katie, code of ethics.
Yeah.
MLS, uniformity in contracts, that sort of thing is all realtor stuff. We govern all licensees. So, for instance, in the state of Louisiana, we have just over 20,000 licensees.
Wow.
20,000 in Louisiana?
20,000.
Okay.
Of those licensees, approximately, that was close, like 14,000 are realtors.
Okay.
So we govern all licensees. Louisiana Realtors, National Association of Realtors, only deal with the realtors. And a lot of that is, procuring cars, arbitration, code of ethics, those sorts of things. Correct, Katie, that we deal with license law and agency law.
Okay.
So they're 2 separate entities. Although I'll tell you, 90% of what we do are pretty much in lockstep.
Okay. Are you typically fielding complaints and issues directly from the public, or is it about as much realtor to realtor or licensee to licensee?
It's not licensee to licensee.
It's public to...
It's a member of the public has been harmed or feel they've been harmed by a licensee. And it could be a realtor. It really doesn't matter in our world whether they're a realtor.
Right. Okay.
Now, something of interest that comes up, and I'm sorry I'm kind of going... Well, first of all, let me get back. Okay,
yes, tell us. Go back.
So, real quick, the Real Estate Commission, at least in Louisiana, every state's different, but they're pretty much all appointed positions.
Okay.
In Louisiana, it's by the governor. So it's a very politically...
You were appointed by the governor?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Isn't that fancy?
How long have you been on the commission?
So the term is, I almost said the sentence, but the term is... The term is for 6 years.
Okay.
I'm in year 4.5.
Okay.
And during that time, you can elect to move up as vice chair and chair.
Got it.
So this year, for 2020, which has been a disaster, I'm the chair of the Real Estate Commission.
Well,
so it's basically, In Louisiana, it's the governor and then the chair of the real estate commission.
Got it.
Real estate
Wow.
So the term was for 6 years, and I'll go back to being a commissioner.
Right.
My chairmanship was up. So
Okay, until you reach the 6
Do you
years.
have to speak to the governor often?
no.
Okay.
I'm like, are you picturing him on the phone with the
But
governor?
we had a lot of interaction with the governor's office, like many of the state, with this COVID situation.
Right,
Sure.
right.
Whether the office can be closed, who can be in it. Like, for instance,
They're trying to tell you what the protocol is for the
well,
public.
we have to follow it, obviously. I don't want to get crossways with the governor, but at the same time, like on the dais, we have now petitions for us where members of the public come in, we check the temperature, I get my temperature checked, everybody does, we get, so it's a lot of scrutiny with this COVID thing. So yes, we have had a lot of with the governor.
Makes sense.
I feel like I would be so scared if someone from the public complained on me.
Yes.
I mean, it seems like a big deal.
It is frightening sometimes, but I can tell you about 40% of what we get is either not under our purview or some violation.
It's not actually a violation.
It's somebody, they just disgruntled with whatever.
Yeah.
Melissa didn't buy the new refrigerator.
Right,
so
they're mad.
Yeah, whatever. It's that kind of stuff.
Oh, so yeah.
Okay,
How do you handle like all that So most of it is tedious stuff that you just have to sort through and figure out what's worth actually.
Compliance.
Okay.
To do that,
it's before he's too far up the chain.
No, but that's what staff
There's
is
like
for.
you have a whole office that's dealing with this.
Oh yeah, there's
but they're also issuing new licenses and dealing with the continuing education.
So real quick, again, there's 11 members in Louisiana. They're all chosen from Supreme Court districts throughout the state.
Okay.
There's 2 at large.
Okay.
So there's 11 of us. And I'm sorry, we were talking about the complaints one. So there's 4 components of what the commission does. Licensing, which obviously they issue license to all licensees. Education. When I say education, meaning approving education.
Right.
The education we approve has to be relevant toward the public and how it helps the public interact.
That's why it's kind of hard to get certain classes approved for CE.
Because
it might be a good fluffy class, but how does it actually help the public?
That's the case. I was thinking about it because you were talking a lot about Trello recently. So if you come to say, listen, hey Rick, I want to run this by the education committee and see if this is going to get approved CE. The first question they would ask you is, hey, how does this help the public in you knowing how to work Trello? Now, you might make a good case, but they might say, no.
Right.
Or
it's a great class, but it doesn't actually.
Feng Shui, maybe I could buy even more than the Trello. No, agree. But even more than Trello, or something that is improving you as a professional, in my opinion, would then be always help the public, right?
So, for instance, like how to measure a house property.
Correct. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Anything with fair housing, of course. I mean, there's tried and true ones, but there's some that most often we get. But they'll kind of try to spin it.
Yeah.
This would help.
This could help.
You would have worked Trello better.
Right.
It might be good.
So y'all approve that or disapprove
so that's education.
Okay.
We have support. We support licensees, whether it's legislatively, whether it's approving statewide contract.
Okay. Yeah, like that.
That sort of thing. Mandatory property disclosure. In Louisiana, every state's different, of course. In Louisiana, every seller, whether they list a house or not, is required to fill out a property disclosure.
I never even thought about the fact that other states may not be required to have a property disclosure.
Yeah,
they're not all required by law. We put that into law.
Interesting.
So that'll be support. And unfortunately, the final component of the 4 is enforcement.
Right, that's the part, the police part.
Yeah.
That's the part. He wants to downplay the police part.
Well, I kind of look at it like this. And I think we talked about it off there about, do you get calls from people?
Sure, yeah.
And I do. And I usually refer to it, and so going back a little bit, for those people who remember the movie The Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
Yeah, okay.
So call me, I'm the good, right?
Okay.
So I can kind of help you, like, you might need to think about this or this.
Right.
The bad is when you get a call from the executive officer who's the paid staff guy.
Yeah.
The commission says, hey, we got a complaint, and he'll informally talk to you. That's bad.
Oh, that's bad.
The ugly is when one of the investigators calls me and says, hey, we need to come in and get your records for this.
Oh, no.
Not good.
Okay.
What do you feel? The things that make it to your plate.
Yeah.
So not the little refrigerators and things like that, like the big things. What do you see like them in mostly one category, or is it a bunch of different things?
Well, there's a myriad of things, but the things on the good, not the good side, the less more innocuous side would be like failure to annotate an offer when you get it.
Okay.
Failure to present an offer. We'll get those complaints from another agent. Hey, I don't think you're doing them off.
Yeah.
They'll submit it. You look at it. Yeah, you don't have to sign. What are you doing? But what will
I should be better at that.
Right.
Not gonna lie. Like just really dating everything where it needs to be.
You as much as it helps.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
What will get you in trouble and will get your license suspended or revoked quicker than anything is not appropriately taking care of people's funds.
Oh. Like deposit checks and
anything of that nature.
Yeah.
When it comes to...
And it's so ironic because I think that would be the easiest thing to do correctly.
It should be, but you'd be surprised at how many fumble around with deposits, don't turn them into the broker.
Right.
They have them written, they put them in their...
They lose them in their car.
No.
Never turn them in.
A lot of times it's brokers.
That's what I would think. It would have to be like they're just putting them in an inappropriate account.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how many times I've taken a continuing ed and they've told me about that.
Now, about 3 years ago, I started telling my buyers, I am not allowed to touch your deposit check.
You're like, I don't want to.
I used to be like, sure, I'll turn it in to the... No.
Right.
And even in our email template, I say, you have to either bring it or mail it.
Send me a copy.
I'm not touching it.
I don't want it.
In my early days, there's 2 or 3 that I had to make that phone call and be like, I know you gave it to me, but
I don't know where it is.
I have no idea where it is. And that's horrible.
Well, deposit has taken on a whole new spin in the last few years with third parties holding deposits.
Yes.
Title companies, builders.
Right.
Anybody.
What do you think about that?
My mindset has changed on that.
Oh, let's hear it.
Well, let me back up for a second, if you don't mind. So when almost 12 years ago, Louisiana adopted and put in the law, everybody said it's a statewide mandatory contract.
Yeah, I love that.
You love it because line 34 in your contract, which is a price, is the same on mine.
Yeah.
It's the same on Melissa's.
Yeah.
So you don't need to go back and recreate the wheel or make sure that somebody didn't slip some nuanced thing there that's going to harm the client.
No, I only need to learn it once.
And we're licensed in our state.
Right.
So
that's correct. So everybody in the state, every licensee must use that. It's in the law.
Right.
And that's one of the things that we put into place. And if I go off for a second, people ask me, Rick, you've been involved in a lot of things, and we know it's a lot of fluff and a lot of nonsense, and you go to these parties and whatever.
It's just fun. Yeah.
We do some substantive things there too. And that would be one of them that I can know my thumbprint was on because I'm still on the committee. So right now, anything that has to do with the contract comes by my desk first.
I'm going to have to get your cell phone number.
So next year, in 21, we're going to review the contract again every 2 years.
Yeah.
So
every 2 years, it's like just when you finish, it's time to start.
But there's things that are nuanced.
It feels like you figure out what's wrong with it after it's in practice.
Sometimes that happens. And listen, look, sometimes good intentions have bad consequences when it's out in the field.
Yeah.
When you're writing.
For sure.
So get back to the deposit. I was firmly against third parties holding deposit.
Yeah.
It was wrought with peril. When a title company gets a deposit, when a builder gets a deposit, they can do what they want with it.
Yeah.
There's no rules governing what can happen with it as opposed to when a listing broker holds it or a selling broker holds it.
Right.
The other thing is, from an administrative point of view, it's outside of the Real Estate Commission's jurisdiction.
Like, you couldn't even control what happened with it anyway.
So after getting feedback and talking, and I'm practicing realtor well, right? I mean, it doesn't put food on my table, right?
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? Yeah, okay. So we need to have a mechanism where if your buyer and seller want to contract and have somebody hold the deposit rate, third party addendum, who's holding it, and you have to acknowledge that there's rules that don't apply to this third party holding it. So,
Oh, I see. There's going to be an additional maybe wording to that.
That's why the contract now has that addendum.
Yeah. So you feel like because of the addendum, you're okay with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if a buyer and seller, but the problem was agents weren't consulting. They were just doing it out of convenience. Because
they don't. I don't want to pick up and order it and bring it to closing.
I also think that part of it was probably born out of there are some brokers now that are not, they're in the cloud and they don't hold deposits.
And listen, so that's another thing. In the state of Louisiana, a broker is not required to have an escrow account if they don't hold any money.
Right. So if they don't take it.
That law was changed a few commissions before I was on. Because they said, what's it unfair to have them have an account, they're paying fees on each month when they don't hold any deposits.
Right.
But that's okay. If your company holds a deposit, you can hold. Your company can hold. You don't have to be the listing.
Right. Oh,
sure.
no, that's what I would
if
typically do.
Yeah. The same rule. So that would be what applies for deposit.
Interesting.
What are your thoughts, since we're on deposits? What are your thoughts about, we've seen a trend locally, and I don't know how it is in your, so for everyone that's listening, tell us what market you're in. I mean, Rick is not far from us. He's in Louisiana, but he's not in Baton Rouge.
I'm in the Greater New Orleans area. It would be akin to like suburbs in the world.
Yes.
It's St. County Parish, Maynardville, Covington, and Jefferson Parish.
Hey, are you in the same board of realtors as Greater New Orleans?
I am.
You are. Okay.
Same local board.
Okay. So here, what we have seen is a trend towards no deposit given at all, because
they basically get it back anyway. It's very hard to actually lose your deposit.
Right. Because of all of the reasons which you get your deposit back. The inspection doesn't go well and you cancel. Your appraisal comes in low and you can't figure out.
Financing.
Your financing doesn't come in. That one specifically, sure. I think is used
too much
loosely.
Okay.
But there's very little you could do as a buyer and not get your deposit back. And at the
you have to work hard at getting your deposit.
Right. And the seller sees that number on there and they think the contract gets canceled. I'm getting that $500. That's never the case.
No.
So a lot of people have sort of just poo-pooed the whole idea and stopped using them, because all right, let's just say there is a dispute and has to get turned over to the court. If it was a $500 deposit, after the fees, what are we fighting over? We're fighting over $100, $50. I don't even know. But so this doesn't make sense.
What do you think about deposits?
Yeah. So you can tell us do you
find them helpful as a realtor?
No.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And you know what? I can wear both hats. Commission hat as well. I don't like to do away with deposits.
Sure.
Now,
unless they become more substantial.
Here's the thing. 2 iterations ago, we changed the penalty. Instead of double the deposit, now 10% of the sales price.
Right. Okay.
So you're renting on a house here for $300,000.
Yeah.
And the penalty for breach is double a $2,000 deposit.
Right.
Most people say a big deal, whatever.
Right. Yeah. Well, right. If I
really $30,000,
yeah, that's a lot.
Probably not.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be a little bit more due diligence involved.
Yeah.
So how many years have you been on the commission?
4.5.
And how often is it that someone loses their license?
Oh, revoked.
Does it happen?
Yes. This year it's happened.
So scary.
I might be mistaken because COVID's got everything cattywampus. But I think we revoked 2.
Okay.
Yeah. And again,
you said that real quietly.
Well, no, too. Like I said, but like I said earlier, it's been money related.
Yeah.
And let me put a disclaimer there, because people might think, this guy's all full of himself, thinks he's a big bad police. No. Listen, first of all, again, writing contracts, listing property puts food on my family's table.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I play in the same sandbox with a lot of my colleagues who are under my jurisdiction. So if you forget to put each office independently owned and operated on your card, I'm not going to secure you.
Put that on your card.
Right. Stop
you start playing with people's money or not presenting contracts and all, that ruins the entire industry for everybody.
Right.
And I take that extremely seriously in my oath that I took. Okay?
That's fair.
I will say, begrudgingly, I am a little lax and will give latitude and call an agent and say, hey, look, you need $50 fine for not putting the office up on that sign, put the $1 office up.
Yeah.
And typically they will.
Right.
When you start messing with people's money or ruining the integrity of
of our profession.
Yes.
Right.
You're doing harm to all of us in every locale, every state. Guys.
Sure.
So I take it very seriously.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's
again,
fair.
I look at it as I would as a practitioner. I can tell you the other 10 people on this commission right now all have that same servant mind and trying to better the industry. That's why they take the time to do it.
Yes.
Do you feel like because I feel like your years in it is also the same time frame that social media has just gotten crazy big too.
Teams have been hard to wrap.
Yes.
Advertising teams.
Yeah.
Who's responsible? Those
so teams and social media. Seems like it would be muddy waters because we're kind of, again, figuring out what the rules should be. Sorry. So are y'all seeing a lot of complaints on that as well?
We did initially, but I think licensees have gotten better with putting and I might be going way off in the weeds here, but doing like on your Twitter profile, putting a bit.ly
a link, because you got to be one click away.
Exactly. And putting that to your company website that has all the disclaimers and it's all family owned and operated and the company phone number. So you're now in compliance.
Yeah.
In a 140 character world.
Right.
Or on a email signature, or whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
So it's come a long way in helping licensees.
Right. Have you had the public complain on realtors for their social media? Have y'all had much of that, or that probably gets thrown out before it gets to you?
We have public complaints, and it falls under the two, it falls under two specific words of false and misleading.
Okay, sure.
So, for instance, if you have your sign out there and your ladder and bloom is in 10 point, and I'll take that back. Yeah, in 10 point, and Alyssa Jenkins is in 40 point fluorescent letters, and ladder and bloom is like shadow.
Right, small.
That might be an issue. I know you can't do that, but I'm just using that. So we get some of that stuff. But a lot of what we get advertising-wise is agent-on-agent crime.
Right.
You turn in a competitor because you don't like the sign, whatever.
Yeah.
Compliance looks at it and says, no, not really. Or, yes, that's the problem.
Right.
Okay.
With the team part of that, is that ever a public complaint? Like they didn't know who was the broker, or they didn't know who was the team leader, or they didn't understand who they were?
Because you'll have a team leader, and just using you guys for an example, like I said, you're the team leader, right?
Yeah.
And Alyssa is your buyer broker. And Alyssa puts your name on everything because you want to get the credit in MLS, right?
Yeah,
I know that's a big hot topic, especially
in that road, right? It is.
So she puts your name and everything, but that buyer's client is never seeing you, talk to you, whatever.
Right.
And then there's a complaint.
Right. And guess whose name's on the contract?
Yours.
Yeah.
And Alyssa's a ghost.
She's like, I'm going to go join a different team.
Yes. There's some of that as well.
Yes.
It's hard to sift through that sometimes.
Because you're supposed to be able to find the broker easily as the public. Like, that's why your broker phone number has to be on the sign. That's why your broker phone number has to be on your contract. You're supposed to be able to find the broker.
And that's it. And that's the other thing, especially when you talk about the phone number. And I help craft this to know who's in compliance or not. The broker phone number needs to be a number I can call the public and bypass you and go directly to the broker.
Right. I don't want to filter through.
Saying, hey, Rick, I'll get you in touch with one of the brokers. But
I'm trying to meet your broker.
Listen, I want to talk to Connie.
I'm going to meet Connie right away.
I'll get you to call her. No. I want to call directly, so I'll speak to Connie's office, and I'm using Connie because I know the broker. Right. Yes. So that's the point.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is.
But the public surely does complain about that.
Sometimes. And it's not a problem until it's a problem. Until they've done something egregious to them, or egregious enough where they can pick up and call the real estate.
I know where I have a question on this topic.
Sure.
So brokers who are broker owner only agent in the office. So, and then there is a problem. It's not that the public can't find them, but it's that, let's just say I'm as an agent having an issue with one of these people. Right. There is no one higher than, there is no broker to go to.
You are the broker.
You're the broker. So do you get some of those types of complaints?
We get those mostly because that's it.
There's no one else to go.
Right there.
Right.
So, hey, commission, this broker's not doing whatever.
And then you have to, I guess those you kind of have to get involved in more often.
It depends.
Yeah,
it depends
on what it is.
What the complaint is.
Right.
Sometimes we'll get somebody calling, you're not calling me back. Well, that's not really a violation. It's not a license law requirement.
Right. Yeah, but if you submitted an offer and they don't call you back,
they haven't responded. They haven't sent back a signed
anything,
rejection, something of that nature. Yeah, that falls under a different realm.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, we get a lot of disgruntled people who call and say, listen, then call me back. Well, okay, well, sorry.
Yeah.
Get a new agent. I don't know what to tell you.
Right. Get a new agent.
There's better ones. Go.
Okay. I don't know.
Someone else,
Oh my heavens.
Wow.
Okay, so maybe tell us how you got into volunteerism within the realtor community.
Okay. Well, it started early on in my career. I was complaining a lot about something that was going on locally.
Realtors complaining?
I haven't heard.
Oh my gosh.
And yes. And I had at the time my manager, not broker, but my manager. I won't say anything about that, but anyway, she got tired of hearing the complaints.
She's like, I'm done with you.
And she says, hey, you know what? On the local board, there's an unfilled spot.
I love this so
Why
much.
don't you run for it? Either put up or shut up.
Right.
And I think let's just take a moment and pause and just say that this is a valuable advice for anybody out there. Yeah. All the rants out there in these social media groups, if you're a ranter, go do something about it.
Right.
Well,
join.
Let me go off for a second too, and I know we're doing a lot, but that's okay. But this ties into what your listeners maybe were on the previous episode when you talked about credibility and dealing with other agents.
Yes.
And by you being involved with the Baton Rouge Association, and they kind of make that connection.
Right.
There is a certain nicety to that too.
Yeah.
Somebody's involved, somebody has some credibility. Somebody's putting in some volunteerism and time to what I industry.
Sounds like you're a professional who gives time to the industry, not just the side.
There is an importance to that when it comes to the negotiation. Differently. So, but I wasn't thinking about anything. I just wanted to voice my grievance.
You had issues that you wanted addressed.
And nobody could,
And how many years ago was that? Like near the beginning of your career?
Yes.
Tell us how long.
How long have you been a realtor?
I've been a licensee, a realtor. Yeah, started realtor. I got licensed in 1986.
Okay, and you were a very young, youthful realtor.
This was back when you could get your license when you were 11. See, so I started.
I'm like, what?
Like the rules have really changed.
I'm dating myself. That's so old.
I'm not gonna ask you the. Okay, fine.
You were in your early 20s.
I was 18 when I got.
Oh, really? You got licensed?
Yeah, because you get the license at 18.
Go.
And so you did.
So I took the class when I turned 18. I got my license.
And then you started serving.
Hold on. We need to back up.
What?
Why did you get your license?
Yeah. Hello, friends. We are so excited that so many of you are using the template course, and the reviews are just pouring in, letting us know that it has helped your business as much as it has helped our business.
Yes, listen to this review. Thank you so much for providing this wealth of information, knowledge in template form. So far, I've used a handful and received positive feedback like, this is so professional, or I really appreciate how organized you are. I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah,
your clients are actually going to say that.
Yes.
All right, here's another one. Thank you so much for this. I can't tell you how many times I've started this and how many notebooks of samples and notes I had. I have ADHD and it is super hard to stay focused on getting it done. Having it all in one place is going to make it so nice.
That is what we're here for.
I know. Just look, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just use these.
Yeah, nice and simple, easy, ready to go, ready for you to put your own logo on, make it sound like you. So head over to hustlehumblypodcast.com/course and check it out.
That's right.
And you're going to enjoy them. You're going to love them.
You're going to
change your life.
Literally fired my assistant. They are the best.
Okay, enjoy the template.
Yes, enjoy.
Why didn't you go do something else?
What made you get your real estate license?
Because
at such a young age, the world is your
I'm a
oyster.
second-generation realtor.
Thank you. That's where I'm trying to go with this.
My mother was a realtor.
Your mom was the realtor.
15 years prior.
Did she want you to get your license? Was she looking for help?
She didn't at first.
Okay.
But my first indoctrination to real estate really was riding the bus going to school.
Okay.
And my job was, instead of goofing around with my friends and acting
your mom was like, I need you to get some comps for me?
No, she wanted me to look for sale by owner signs.
Sweet.
Oh, you were so sweet.
Did she pay you per sign?
No, that would be illegal. No.
So you're looking out the window for sale by owner signs.
She would pay me in food when I got home.
Special dinner tonight.
Pick me up from practice.
Wow.
Wow.
So yeah, and sometimes I couldn't get it all in the first go by. So I did like the first 3 digits, and then I'd come back and 5043. Okay, here's
oh my gosh,
whatever.
that's so cute.
So that's kind of how I got this. I'm like, this is real estate. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So then she said, yeah, why don't you just get your license anyway, you know? So
She's like,
I did 18.
Okay.
And then 2 years later, because you only have to be a licensee for 2 years, you go back and get your broker's license.
Did you sell any houses in those 2 years?
No.
You just worked for your mom.
You just like...
Not even that. No.
Okay.
No, I was still in school. I was in college, right?
Okay. What were you going to school for?
I have no idea.
Okay.
He's like, guess what? I'm just a realtor now.
Well, no, at the time, I was putting in a good effort. I was here at LSU.
Okay.
And I got on academic probation my second year.
Because you're busy selling real estate.
No, I was busy doing other things.
Okay.
But I had my license. So I went back home, went to UNO, University of New Orleans, where I lived, and I got my broker's license.
Because you only had to be a realtor for 2 years.
That's correct.
That's true even through probably 10 years ago, maybe.
Yes.
It's changed. Just recently got changed to 5? 4. Okay.
So anyway, so I had that, and I had my own company, just myself.
Yeah.
Bought a piece of property.
Outside of your mom?
Outside of her.
Yeah.
Bought a piece of property in New Orleans East, close to where the university was. I'm going to school, and doing renovations in the property.
Like it.
I flipped it in 89.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, made almost 40 grand.
Wow, what a good margin.
And I'm like, this is interesting.
I'm hooked.
Wow.
And my friends are all, they're going to keggers and all this, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta wait and meet the floor guy or whatever. You know,
yeah.
You're like, I got money.
But then at the end of the day when I sold it, like, wait, what? I said, yeah.
Yeah, haha, showed
like,
you.
See you. And then, so that kind of was the evolution.
Oh, I like that. Okay. So what made you get your broker's license and just do your own thing versus just working at the same company that your mom worked with?
Well, I did for a short period of time.
Okay.
But I was very young and I knew everything.
Right.
And she knew nothing.
Right.
Obviously.
And
yeah. So you're like, I'm going to do this on my own.
Yeah. I don't know. And we parted ways.
Okay.
Not in a good way. And so, yeah.
And then you came back.
Eventually. Not right away.
Tell us about the rules, because that was what I found interesting in our pre-talk. You know, working with family, working with your mom, that you were, basically a team. And
when you came back.
Yeah, when you came back. So, and what are the rules? What are the rules that make it work with family?
So, all right. So, and the reason I wanted to cover this, because like we talked about, you're neither one of you a team. I'm kind of a quasi-team, but not really. But there's a lot of teams out there, I'm sure, that are listening, and a lot of
Well, there's a lot of generational realtors where mom was for sure.
Sorry. So first of all, we have work mode, which is one thing, and that's Sandra. I'm Rick.
And you call her by her first name.
Absolutely.
At work.
Yes.
Right. But at Thanksgiving, she's mom.
Yeah, like Thanksgiving, holidays, on weekends, when we're outside of that.
Right.
Mom,
walking to the car from the office, does she switch over to mom?
No.
Still work mode.
No,
Sandra.
Okay, got it.
And let me tell you, work mode is pretty brutal. I mean, she's told me before that she didn't want to do no more deals with me anymore. And
oh no,
is she like you? Is she?
Somewhat. I have some idea, but so here's a good example. So actually, last year, Christmas, I go over to the house and there's a bunch of people over, and I see my dad. And I don't see him nearly as much. I see Sandra every day.
Y'all are working together.
And
he's not in real estate.
He has a license, but he's inactive.
Okay.
I don't have nothing to do with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I go to him and I tell him, I said, Dad, Mom told me to go F myself. And he's like,
she is like you then. That was my question.
Yeah. No, she shoots straight.
Okay, she'll shoot you straight. She's a straight shooter.
Right.
Okay.
And he goes, not good. And she overhears the conversation and says, wait, Pat, it's okay. We were in work mode.
Oh,
I didn't mean it as my son. I meant it as my coworker.
Exactly. She said, I would never tell my son.
No.
I wouldn't tell my business partner. I thought we were doing something stupid too.
Yeah. It's like, not having that.
Work mode business.
Okay.
That's amazing.
So, in 1992, there was an opportunity. She was branching out into another market, which is a suburb of New Orleans, and she needed an admin or an assistant. So I was kind of floundering around doing my thing. I was working for a construction company, and it just, I said, all right, fine. I said, let me talk to her. So we got in, so I was in her office there. And I started as her assistant.
Okay.
That's how the partnership sort of began.
Yes.
Was when she branched out and needed an admin.
She needed somebody.
But you had kept your license this whole time.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I went
doing your own thing.
Right. I went from being my own broker back to being an associate broker underneath a qualifying broker.
Got it.
So the opportunity came up. I started working for her and doing just her stuff. And then I had college people and
your sphere started to turn.
Exactly. Just like
started getting busy.
So I started doing my thing. And then it got to a point quickly where I was doing my stuff. And I didn't have time to do her stuff.
She's like, wait, what kind of admin are you? She's like, you're failing as an admin.
Right, you know? So, and then it got to a point where we have, this was back when we still had awards. And I had some of these agents. And
awards deals.
They're stupid. Everybody patting each other on the back.
Yeah, you know how we feel about the
and
awards
Katie
deals.
feel the same about awards.
I hate those award deals.
Listen, we'll get that in a second.
Fine, okay.
But then looking down their nose at me like, oh, you're just an assistant, you know?
Yeah.
Your bronze award, I'll compare my 1099 to yours.
Let's compare money. Let's compare money.
What are the dollars in the bank?
It's not about that, but that's what they wanted to make it about. They're looking down their nose at me. You're just an assistant.
Right.
Okay, let's compare. Okay?
Right.
We're all about the trophies here in the real estate industry.
They love a trophy.
Or a ribbon.
Look.
Or
a ranking of any kind.
What industry? Other than
preach it, come on.
The need a check in a wreck guys.
Right.
Go out on social media and post, hey, one more listing today and I'll make agent of the month. Who do you know wants to list on?
Right.
I mean,
guess how much money I made today?
With your plumber put out there, hey, unclog 2 more toilets this month and I get an award. You know, your CPA. 3 more audits and I'll make my goal this month. Or, you know, I mean.
It's so crazy.
I know.
But it's built that way. And it's and that's part of what we're trying to work against here. Yeah. Is that shouldn't be an acceptable. Right.
I mean, if you want to act, you need to act.
And really, there are no other salespeople that even advertise consistently in that way. Maybe your pharmaceutical rep at the year-end trip says I made the list and shows you, but that's not every month. Look at me, I sold X medical devices.
Yeah,
nobody.
So I started there, and then it got to a point where we were kind of on equal footing.
Okay,
we were bringing about half.
How did Sandra handle that?
She handled it quite well. Actually.
She was excited.
So you're working, she's working. Y'all are both bringing home the bacon.
Did you have to get a new admin?
We did.
Okay.
We did. And so that was some of the ground rules I was telling you about before. One is that when we're at the office, we don't talk about, hey, Rick, what are the kids doing this weekend? Or are they coming over? Or
not allowed.
No, because that muddles things up.
There are no kids.
Wait, I don't know you. Sandra, I don't know you.
There's none of that.
Right.
And it sounds
no, Mom, can you baby?
No, it's necessary. It's necessary.
When then we shift back to, hey, did you get the contract on Wall Street yet?
Right.
It just doesn't work. Okay?
Right, okay.
The other thing, and that was kind of like setting office boundaries. The other thing is knowing who gets paid and how they get paid.
Okay.
So for us, and I'm not saying this works for everybody, but for us, we split everything equally.
Okay.
Sure.
There are things that she has no clue about, hasn't seen the listing, doesn't know the people.
Right.
Handle all myself, and of course the admin. We go to sale,
all the money goes in the same pot.
That's right.
But you are basically partners.
Yes.
It's not a team like someone's at the top.
Yeah, because for a point in time we were a team. We had other buyers for us.
You are right.
You know, I'm doing work for them. It just didn't work out.
Okay.
The whole leverage thing and all,
it wasn't for you.
No, I didn't.
You're running a partnership, a family partnership.
Yes, exactly. And again, same with you guys. You know, I wanted to go to every inspection, and I go to all my closings, and I go to listing appointments.
Yeah.
You wanted to be involved in the work.
You weren't looking to build.
Yeah. You're pass it off to a minion who's just learning how to do it.
That's
sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, maybe
that's correct. Okay. No, don't pass. Well, they don't want to be. Your clients don't want to be passed off when they came to you.
Right.
I mean, that just doesn't seem natural. And I wanted to say, I read your bio that you sent, and my favorite thing in it was that you were providing customer service with empathy and attention to details. And I felt like both of those things spoke to how we feel and how we work, and that there are a lot of people who think the visuals are more important than they are.
The perception
of
what.
The other thing, the empathy and having, look, you know, when I teach agents and training, and y'all kind of touch on this too, besides death and divorce, uprooting your family, moving households, courting art is the third most stressful thing that people typically do in their life.
That is stressful.
So if they're acting irrationally, even if it's family, friends, people you know for a long time, if they're acting,
it's stressful.
You need to understand and have some empathy, like, hey, you know what? I need to help guide them. This is a process. And a lot of agents go wrong with looking at the deal. Almost, I did air quotes. Look at that.
Yeah, you did. So
air quotes.
See, quotes.
I'm sorry.
Air quotes. You have to tell them air quotes.
I'm doing a Katie air quotes.
Yeah, you got to do it.
And start concentrating on what the goal of the folks are. If they're moving up, because they have more children, they're moving down, they're downsizing.
Right.
Focus on that and how you can help them.
Yeah.
The deal will come. And then people out there saying, oh, Rick, that's easy for you, man. Look, you got, 12 pending deals in the pipeline, whatever.
Yeah.
It didn't happen like that because I'm focused on, oh, man, the commission on that's going to be great. I need to keep pounding them. When you sell. No. How can I help you? You follow up, like y'all just talked about the last time. So, I mean, that is all worked into the whole having a human side to people doing what they're doing. They're employing you to help them with some family. Usually, it's all tied to different family situations.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Forget the deal. Help people.
So being on the commission, traveling to Baton Rouge for meetings, traveling here and there, working in your partnership, like, what do your boundaries look like with your clients? Like, how do you set aside like when you can take calls or showings and still respect like your family time? Or
it depends. If I'm in a transaction with somebody who really doesn't know that, I'll tell them up front.
Yeah.
So like for instance, like right now we have a meeting this week.
Sure. So you're out of town this week.
Well, part of it.
Yeah.
But I'll tell them, well, Thursday morning, I cannot take a call. I can't even answer a text.
Right.
I mean, it's inappropriate for one.
Right.
We have people coming in. They have issues, their livelihoods in the balance.
Right.
I can't be texting, hey man, the inspector's coming up, whatever.
No.
So I have an admin who fully knows and is aware and tries to deflect some of that and keep them in contact. But
does your admin check your email?
No, but again, third Thursday of the month.
Do you have an autoresponder? Like, what if you are getting a text message? Like,
you don't have it. You don't see it.
Is there a system in place? Did you tell all your clients the day before, I'm out tomorrow?
If it's ones that I know I'm going to interact with.
Right, you have something going on.
I'll out of pocket. And I'll tell them why. It's not like I'm going on a fishing trip, right?
Yeah.
But what if you were going on a fishing trip?
Well, if I might tell them, I might be out of communication for a while. But I'll be upfront with them and tell them. But really, it's hard and fast with commission.
Yeah. Right.
But even then, people can wait 3 or 4 hours for a response to a text or whatever.
And listen, and look, if we go more than a couple hours, I'll say we'll call a break and then people can catch up on emails and texts. I mean, look.
People can wait.
There's very few real estate emergencies out there.
Yeah.
Now, they think it's an emergency.
Right.
Yes.
So the boundaries are few and far between. Now, when I was involved with Louisiana Realtors, that was a little more extended because we would go all around the state.
Yeah.
I was out of my area for maybe a week at a time.
Yeah.
Depending on what time of year it was.
Yeah.
The thing with the commission is, unlike Louisiana Realtors, the state association, we go all around the state, visit different locales, whatever. Everything with commission happens in Baton Rouge. So I drive an hour and a few minutes.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
That's not so bad.
Well, it's not bad for me. It's bad for the folks from North
Alexandria.
Sure.
But
more of a production.
So it's not as hard now. Now, being the chair, there's a lot more interaction in between. But it's nothing that takes away a big chunk of it.
From your clients. Yeah. That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
What else do you want us to know? Like, what are the things that you want? Is there a message that you want to give agents? Is there something that maybe you're passionate about?
There's a few things. I mean, we talked about the whole agent bloating and all that, but really, there's some truisms in real estate that I've learned over just time.
Okay.
And one that I hear all the time is time kills deals.
All right, talk about that.
Time kills deals.
Yeah, what you got?
You've been looking at property, you found one you like, you're lamenting over it, you've done the numbers. Rick, I'm ready to make an offer.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's go. Go.
Right.
There you go. It's in your email.
Not, let's wait till after whatever. I just said this morning before I came up here.
Yeah.
We got
get it done.
House. It's a really good offer. Clean. No closing costs back. No this, that,
we gotta take this.
Oh, maybe we should wait on a few days. I said, no, we can do it right now.
Right.
I said, I'm doing it before we go to Baton Rouge.
Right.
I'm sending you the DocuSign.
Yeah.
It's done. Time kills deals.
Okay.
No matter what, you can put whatever concept was. Listing a property, signing a contract, presenting a counter.
Yeah.
When someone's ready, you need to act.
Exactly.
Right.
Time kills deals.
Okay.
You can apply it to whatever you want in real estate. That is a truism. The other thing, if it's not in writing, it's not.
Right. I like that
man. I know.
Hey, let's make a verbal, whatever.
No.
Sure, no problem.
Do y'all get issues with that at the commission?
Not as much as you think.
Yeah.
But people think making an offer is just fine.
Well, that's maybe a public perception problem. It's not that the realtor or the licensee doesn't understand that it has to be in writing. It's that the public's like, hey, will you just ask the seller if they'll take, $200 for that house? I'm like,
is it worth writing up? I've heard that a few times.
Yeah.
Like, just write it up. Maybe.
Okay, it is a commission rule, at least in the state of Louisiana. If someone's making an offer, a bona fide offer, you must put it in writing and present it.
okay.
You must present it.
Yeah, I can't say no.
Even if you think it's a lowball, totally.
Now, I can give them advice that tells them that's not a good idea.
Obviously, this is probably not going to be conducive to open up a line of dialogue.
Right.
But if you insist, yes, I'll make that $200,000 off when it's $400,000.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you why it's not going to work. But if you want to do it, I'm required by law to do it. Oh, I've definitely said that before.
But getting back to if it's not in writing, it's not. Is more like, I want to. What do you think? You're going to take $200,000?
Right.
Yeah.
Let's put it in writing.
Yeah.
With the name on and the signature.
Oh, yeah.
And present it.
Nobody takes you seriously without paper.
So, if it's not price, it's terms. Not terms, it's price. There's a $200 cash. There's a $200 with $100,000 back.
Right.
What is it?
Right.
So if it's not right, it's not.
Okay.
And then I just had one recently that happened where they're a power of attorney.
Mm-hmm. The agent was power of attorney?
For one of the sellers.
Okay.
Husband and wife seller. Wife shows up. Husband, they could have. Okay. She didn't check with the husband and go over the CD prior to.
Oh, my. Yeah. Please, this has got to be a divorce situation.
It was.
Why wouldn't the wife have the power of attorney?
Well, you'd be amazed how many spouses don't really talk to each other. I mean, that. But the lesson for the agent was, first, she didn't go over that. Secondly, the proceeds, they were splitting up. She didn't know how to give it to him because the title company didn't know. They just gave a check to her. Hey, you're representing him.
They gave it to the agent?
Yeah, to give to him.
And
so we're outside the sale. Of course, we have the other party. You can go with him now. So again, anything going on anybody's behalf for them.
Oh, yeah, I've had POA many, many times, but I'm like, these are I'm like, tell a title company, every single thing that my signature has to go on better go to the seller 1 to 2 days in advance, and I want an email from them that says, I accept that you can sign these things.
Yeah,
I need it in writing.
Exactly.
I mean, people just don't think.
So, that's just another truism in real estate. Something we did here in Louisiana, it's not the same across the country, but agency. Mm-hmm. Remember prior to first face-to-face, meet them at the house. Before you walk in there, I got to sign agency.
Yes.
So they looked at you like you will.
Yeah, like I don't want to sign anything with you. Yeah, I don't know you.
Hey, Katie and Alyssa didn't have me sign something. Why are you having me sign something?
Right.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I'm following the law.
I find that this frequently works in my favor, though.
Mm-hmm.
You can't.
Oh, yes.
But we changed that.
Okay.
So now, upon substantive contact, when you're presenting contracts, and
at that time,
this language works, it's signed.
Right.
I had to go before the commission then. I was in Louisiana Realtors Trade Association and argue before the commission to change it.
Okay.
Because I had a commissioner who held up the agency and says, Mr. Roberts, this protects the public in knowing
who you are.
Yeah. Right.
And I said, no, sir, Mr. Commissioner. Getting this sign protects us from you. It does nothing to inform the client.
Right.
As we're standing outside the door of a house, hey, you got to sign
awkwardly.
This. You're not going to read it.
Right.
If you insist, they're just going to sign it and go in the house.
Right.
So, again, the only two things in my entire volunteerism career I can really take credit for that really changes for us.
Major changes.
Statewide contract and change agency law.
That's awesome.
In Louisiana. So all states are different.
Yeah.
Most are like that, but not all.
Most of them have some sort of agency law.
They all have agency law.
Where you're signing some sort of disclosure. Yes. Okay, I have a question about that. When you're talking about, and then we'll keep this part brief, substantive contact. What about if you're going completely virtual? Like if only email, if you send them comps via email, that disclosure needs to go along with it?
Why not? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It can all follow and flow. It's now crafted where it goes with the flow of the transaction.
Right.
Not we put out here first.
Yeah.
Then we talk, and what some houses. Then we write a contract.
Right.
No, when you're writing and doing all that email,
Then-
DocuSign stuff.
Is this little agency disclosure in most states?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But the way they administer it is
Different.
Right.
And agency.
And at what stage?
Right.
Mhm.
Designated agency versus, I mean, who works for what, and who's paid,
Yeah.
compensation doesn't equal representation. Those are,
Oh,
Very interesting.
very.
well, because think about it. The listing company pays your
Oh, I know.
selling
It's
company,
very
Right.
confusing.
not your buyer.
Right.
Right.
But you could make the case for the buyer buying the house and
Yeah.
buying sort of thing. But really,
Yeah.
Yeah.
listing company pays selling company.
Yes.
Right.
The title company does a favor just by splitting the check, but really technically,
They could hand it
if I
all
have the
to.
listing,
It could go all to the listing
it
company.
should go all to, because our
And they
cooperative agreement is through
disperse.
the MLS.
Oh.
So just for argument's sake, not
Yeah,
that this is a
sure.
standard commission,
Right.
right? Okay, I'm
Right,
putting
yeah.
somewhere there.
Yeah.
This is 6% commission, and
Okay.
you get 3%, we split it equal.
Okay.
6 all should come to me,
And then
I
you
have
disperse.
3.
Yeah, it's
Title
interesting.
company does this.
That makes sense. I mean, that's how the listing agreement is written.
Well, if there's an agent dispute, agents think they can hold the sale.
Mhm.
So if the buyer and the seller don't give a rat's, what
Right. About how you split up your money.
I'm supposed to get 2.5.
They just want their house sold.
Yeah.
And they're going to get it sold. And they're going to go to sale.
Right.
And the title attorneys say, hey, Rick, you take all the commission.
Yeah.
Y'all figure it out.
Right.
We're going to sale.
Right.
House
We
and
don't-
transact.
we don't need
So-
this headache.
So, yeah.
Okay.
It's a convenience area.
Well, I'm
Makes
thankful
sense.
they split it.
Me too.
Well, listen, and the Louisiana license law requires you to only get paid compensation by your broker.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We had a point in time there where we loosened that and allowed
Oh.
title companies.
Uh-huh.
So, let's say I'm your broker.
Right.
You're going to say you get 2 checks. One for you, Katie,
Mm-hmm.
for your commission split. One for me, broker.
Mm-hmm.
For
I have to
your
submit a letter
Oh.
saying it's
yeah.
okay for Katie to get X
Hers.
percent and I get the other percent.
Yeah. Now we just take the whole check back to the broker and they
Because-
figure it out.
There was a lot of problems
For
with that.
accounting. Yes. It's just better to go.
There was all kind of competing business models.
Mhm.
Oh, Katie's with Remax. She gets
Right.
X more
Mhm.
percent or whatever. And wow, look what she gets. It just was wrong.
Yeah.
So
very
we quickly
interesting.
Went back to
Very
your company
interesting.
gets it. Y'all
Figure it out. Right.
So again, those are the 2 things that we actually changed for some good.
I like that.
Yeah.
At least Louisiana.
That's very good. That contract is key.
Yes.
And it'll stay.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
And as long as I'm involved, it'll always be calendar days, not working days.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Thank
Right.
you.
My working day is every day.
Yeah.
In Metro New Orleans, Mardi Gras Day is not necessarily a working day for people.
They're
but
not
it is for
working.
people
They're not
in
working
Shreveport
days a
Bossier.
lot of the days.
Right, exactly.
Friday is working
Yeah.
lunch. I'm doing my air
So,
quotes.
Right. Right.
so every 2 years we get together and modify and work on the contract.
Yeah.
Things that we find that happen out there.
Right. In practice. Then you
If
got to
we
make the
get
changes.
input from public licensees.
That's great.
realtors,
How do I give the
brokers,
input on that?
You talk to me.
Oh,
So if you have an issue with your contract or something like
you might
that,
be getting a nice.
do
long
not
email.
go on social media and rant about it. Contact your
contact your
local commissioner.
That's the other thing too. Now, real quick, we're on Facebook groups, whatnot.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that. Very
Yep.
Yeah.
good detail.
We see it all.
Every now and then, I'll have myself when I get tagged on something.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And I'll get tagged, and it'll be on. I don't want to say who, but anyway, but it's a group of realtors ranting and ranting about something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they'll say something, commission something. Rick Roberts tag, and then I'm looking, I'm like,
Oh no.
not gonna happen.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
There's like 400 replies.
Oh my
Yeah.
word.
And I'm in the middle of like 200. They want me to respond to something
Right.
that I have no idea what you
Oh,
said before. And I have no idea what
Oh, I don't have time to read all that.
So one of our people, anytime there's like a big rant or just something negative for no reason, he basically copy and paste the same message. And it's great. It says, I totally understand your frustration. If you would like to serve, contact so-and-so to make a difference on the MLS committee or the education committee. Whatever your grievance is, there's a place for you to voice this in a positive way, and we'd love to have you.
We're all for that.
And it's great. And it's so true.
Crusaders, they really involved in, at that one point in time when they have the keyboard.
Right.
It comes down to putting a hard sweat equity into it.
And making a difference in your industry and standing up for professionalism.
Yeah.
It's nowhere to be found.
So, but that's how I got involved with this whole volunteerism thing. Starting with local association, went on status. I didn't even mention that. I was president of state association in 2012.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm talking to everybody, folks, no matter what locality you're in. This whole volunteerism thing, and I know you've done, I don't know what you've done, Katie, if any at all.
I attempted once. It didn't go well.
I can tell you this, unequivocally, the time, it was a huge time crunch in 2012. So here's my 2012.
When you were the president.
State president. Louisiana
of the
Association
Realtors.
Okay. Getting married that year, planning the wedding.
Poor timing.
Bought a house and blended two families together in that house.
Yes.
In real estate, because I had to
work at some point.
Right, So that was my 2012. But I can tell you, the time spent, I would not trade anything. The relationships made, it gave me much more than I could possibly get.
Sure, yeah.
And that's on an extreme. But even serving on a local committee, MLS or whatever, it gives a lot back. And the people you meet and the experiences you have are different than this more pseudo-adversarial, and you got to listen, write a contract, trying to get the best of you, trying to squeeze whatever.
It's different. Well, it's a different community.
It is.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fluff and nonsense, but it's a lot of good too.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, and again, you get some straight credit.
Some of my greatest realtor friends are friends that I have met through serving on committees that are with other companies.
Right.
That I just liked them, and then we started having lunch and, just became really good friends.
I got a good quote about volunteers.
Oh, please share.
We love a quote.
Okay. So this is, and again, I'm not like a big reader guy. So people out there, don't think that I'm really trying to throw something out there and make it sound smarter than I am. But anyway. This is a quote. It basically says, "Those who are too smart to engage in politics are punished by being governed by those who are dumb."
Yeah.
So
that's a good one.
Who do you want making your decisions for you?
Exactly. If you're too smart for it, somebody else is going to do it.
Right.
And you're going to consider them
then you're going to be complaining.
dumber than you.
Then you'll complain.
The rules that you need to play by.
Yep.
Happens in politics all the time.
Yep. Very good.
Well, this was a great episode.
So good. So many nuggets.
Keep going, but I guess we shouldn't.
Gotta cut it off.
Yeah.
Did you bring a toast?
Do you have someone you'd like to toast to today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Can I have some honorable mentions in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just...
As many as you want. You can just say them real fast like an Oscar speech if you want.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So again, if we stay with the volunteerism thing, right?
Yes.
Okay, Louisiana Realtors, there's plenty of people. There's Kim Calloway and Amy Fennell.
Yes.
Amy well. And look, and I have different wives. I didn't go into that.
Oh yeah. I know about the wives.
I have a regular wife.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a work wife who's my admin, Emily Calloway. Could not survive with her. She is fantastic.
Go
I give a
Emily.
shout out to her.
Okay.
And my current work wife, volunteer work wife, is Summer Meaner.
Okay.
She's a star that stirs the drink at the Louisiana Real Estate Commission.
Love it.
So anyway, her for sure, Kim Calloway, Amy Fennell, Bruce Nance, who's the executive director of the Real Estate Commission. But there's one person above all who we all know, especially, who I was in a volunteer role with Louisiana Realtors. I lost an election to move up, and I thought I was done. I thought I'd given all I could give. He personally reached out to me and said, "Rick, no, you have more to give this association. I want you to come back and get in the fold and, just brush it off and come back." And I eventually ascended to big president. And that's Norman Morris.
I love
CEO
Norman.
CEO of Louisiana Realtors has to get a toast.
Have you met Norman?
No, I need to meet Norman.
I love him like a brother.
Oh my gosh.
He is the greatest guy. And for association executives and everybody across the state, the country has one. Norman Morris is the best.
He's the best.
He's the best. So all those folks out there, y'all have great A's. I've run into many of them at NAR meetings, but Don Moss, fantastic. So you got to get my thing.
Love it.
Cheers to all the
cheers to all of
volunteers
that.
and leadership. Oh man,
Yes.
that's perfect.
Amazing. Okay, thank you so much.
I'm so glad. Thank you so much.
We did it.
Appreciate you guys.
You
We
did.
finally got you in.
I know. That was tough. Okay, bye everyone.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly podcast. Let us know who we should toast to for the next episode.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Hustle Humbly Podcast. If you have an episode, topic, or question, please email us at hustlehumblypodcast@gmail.com.
Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. See you next week. Bye.
This is the good life.